My name is Maddie Loehr. I am 22 years old, still in college right now, finishing up my last semester at the University of St. Thomas. I am also a personal trainer. I train out in Burnsville, Minnesota right now at a newer gym. Haven't even been open for a year yet. It's called Iron Alliance. Super, super, super cool gym. What else? I feel like I'm always like training and like doing school. But if I'm not doing that, I enjoy riding horses. I have two dogs, a yellow lab and an Australian shepherd. They're like my whole world. I also compete in bodybuilding, so that takes up, a large amount of time too, getting my training in every day. Make sure I'm eating good on top of like everything else I'm already balancing.
So, how'd you actually get into the world of fitness?
Yeah, I grew up, I played soccer, really competitive soccer, uh, cross country, track, all that. Never did like weightlifting though, growing up and like in high school. I started lifting weights, I would say like freshman year of college is when I like really started. And I mostly just did it as like a way to stay in shape, and it was kind of like just for fun. I was like serious about it, but not like serious in the way of like what I am now, where like I have a coach, like I compete. Like it was never like that. It was just after class, I would go to the gym for like an hour and work out and not really know what I was doing. Like I look back at it now, I'm like, wow.
Right.
Like if you could work out wrong, I was working out wrong. Just like random movements that I'd like find on Instagram. There was no plan, but it really was just for fun. It wasn't until probably like my junior year of college. I want to say that feels like so long ago now, which is weird. It's not that long ago, but probably my junior year of college. I think that's when I like hired my coach and got serious about it.
You're a few years younger than me, so kind of like especially this day and age, even a few years seems like it could be such like a gap in regards to like generational things and like what's popular, or like what information is out there and stuff like that. For you, when you got into the gym and started lifting weights, did you feel like it was pretty normal and accepted then for, females to be in the gym, to be lifting weights, to be kind of just like in that environment?
Yeah, 100%. Like I feel like for me, the reason I love the gym so much is because that's always been like where all like my support has like come from. Like I feel like the best people I've met, like I've met them through the gym. Like the most supportive people I've met them through the gym. Like I have never walked in a gym and felt like, oh, I don't belong here. Ever. Just, and maybe I've just been to like really good gyms, but I've also been to like a wide variety where I feel like I don't know if I would have had a bad experience. I probably would have, but I've never ever felt that at a gym ever.
Was there any like an intimidation, just not necessarily from other people, but just yourself and being like, oh wow, there's so much to learn, so much to do? You mentioned that you kind of had that period of just kind of doing whatever and trying to figure things out. For you, was that more like of a scary kind of experience or exciting or maybe a mixture of both?
Yeah, I would say I think for anyone it's intimidating like to go into a gym right away cuz like we all start somewhere, right? And you're in there like comparing your physique to someone who's been training for like 2, 3, 4, 5+ years, right? And then like I would say in that sense it's hard because you're brand new to it and you're like, oh, everyone knows what they're doing. And like I said, I had no idea like what I was doing. I like had my phone pulled up. I'm like watching these workouts, copying like what the person's doing. So in a way it was like intimidating, but no one, I think that was just like within myself, right? Like you're like worried, like, oh my gosh, everyone's watching me. Like everyone totally knows I have no idea like what I'm doing. But like reality is like no one cares. Like, and I think you just kind of have to go in there, like get your stuff done, and then like, over time you grow and you realize like, yeah, like you don't care about like what this person's doing. Like everyone is just so worried about themselves in there. So it's like a silly thing that I was like worried about, but I think a lot of people especially women. I train a lot of women who are always like, oh, I'm so worried, like,
Yeah.
to come to this gym, like everyone's so strong. And, it's nice that I like had that experience too and can kind of be like, listen, like it's me and you, nothing else matters. These
Yeah.
people are great. I think everyone just wants to get better, right? And it's like the more you learn, the more better you can get.
Did you have any like general kind of idea of performance at all, or like any of the pillars of maybe like I understand that I should probably fuel myself in a certain way, or I understand maybe that sleep is pretty important here. Like did any of the things that you've learned or just even picked up from sports performance help you make that transition into like gym and fitness and bodybuilding performance?
I think I was always like passionate about like health. I always wanted to be healthy. I always wanted to like feel good, look good type of thing. Um, I think really like one of the biggest reasons I started bodybuilding, it wasn't even to like get healthy or be healthy. I think there's a lot of aspects of bodybuilding that aren't necessarily the healthiest. um, but it was more, I think what bodybuilding really does for me is like it keeps me in line. Like it gives me like purpose almost, as in the sense of like I wake up every day and I know like I'm chasing this like dream. And it also motivates me in just like so many other like aspects of life. It's really just shown me like, what you can accomplish like when you just put your head down and like work for something. And I haven't learned that like through other sports. I think bodybuilding is a lot different. Soccer, I guess soccer is a team sport. Cross country and track, I could argue, are like more individual, but I never had like goals that were like big in the way that I do like now with bodybuilding. Um, and I don't think I learned that like through other sports. I think really just it kind of came like from bodybuilding. And another reason that I like started bodybuilding was honestly to get like out of like having to go out and party. Like I was in college and like, I'm really bad at just being like, no, like I don't want to, like I don't want to go out tonight, like I want to stay in. And I kind of felt like a loser and, like saying that. So I actually kind of like was then able to use like bodybuilding like as my excuse, like, hey guys, I literally can't drink. Like it's not in my, like macro plan. Like my coach and me have to train tomorrow. Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
So like I would say that's like another like bigger reason on like why I like got into bodybuilding. I knew it was like very strict and you had to give it like 200%.
What did you learn about like what you didn't know and how much you maybe didn't know and understand about like training and nutrition and stuff like that? Did you feel like you kind of had like this base and this foundation that then kind of like got almost changed in a way when you went into the sport?
Yeah, I think before I started, I kind of thought like I knew it all. Like I was right. I knew what I was doing. Like, people would try to like give me advice. And I just thought I had it down. Like I didn't take rest days. I trained like 7 days a week. I was like, I'm such a grinder. Like I was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, my splits were like wonky. Like, I don't know. um, and I, then started training with my coach. He's he's literally so good. Like what this person has taught me is unreal. Like I am just so like I just want to pick at his brain. Like and to me, like this man like knows everything. He's brilliant. So he was a really like good person to learn from. Um, I would say he's taught me so much that it's allowed me to like successfully like help other people start my own business. Like if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been able to do what I do now. Like yes, I've taken like courses, I've gotten certifications, but like simply just what I've learned from my coach is a million times better than like any course I think I could ever take. I learned a lot about like structuring like a workout successfully, how to do that, which I didn't realize, how important it was to like have a set plan and not just go into a gym and like do random movements till I met him. nutrition wise. He's taught me so much. You know, I've been through all different phases with him. We've done a prep, we've done a mini cut, we've done a bulk, like we've literally done it all. And you know, nutrition is different through all of that. And I've really learned kind of like how to do it through him, like taking me through it. The courses are, here's what I'll say about the courses. I think they're a really great base. Like I think anyone looking to, you know, get into personal training, like get your certification, you'll learn a lot, but I would say it's very like base level. Like truthfully, like I took that course and I was like, I felt like I was just skipping through. I'm like, yep, like I know this, I got it. And it's hard to like apply that because I think it's so like, it's not personalized. Like every single client I have like comes to me and like they come to me with something different, like a different goal, a different like I have, you know, I want to like accomplish this. I want to look like this. I have this injury preventing me from like doing movements like this. And it's, you know, those are things that those courses like they don't teach you that. Like it's just very like, you know, baseline. So I think what separates, you know, really good trainers from, you know, your average trainer is like, well, what further education like are you going to do, you know, after like this? Are you good at like being here or do you like want to be up here? And like I want to be up here. Like I think the people that I look up to are like up there and like that's where I want to be. And I think it's just a matter of, you know, over time, like continuing to expand your knowledge as much as you can and like learning from the people like at the top. And I feel like, you know, to measure your results and it's just shown through your clients, like how successful
Right.
are your clients? Are they reaching their goals? Like that's how I measure my success. It's like through my clients' success.
Was there ever a time for you when you just kind of felt overwhelmed or you felt like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I've gotten myself into, or I had no idea it was going to be all this?
Literally every day. Literally every day. I think you just have to go through it to experience it. And for me, I will say I think my first prep will have been the hardest one. For me, like once I know I can do something, like at that point, it's like I know I can do it. It's just a matter of like, let's do it again. It's like the same with like, I don't know, squatting X amount of weight. It's like you just got to do it once, right? And then you know you can do it. But for me, that first prep, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I didn't. My coach was really good about telling me like what's next and why we're gonna do it. But like looking forward, you don't really know like, you know, how everything's gonna come together, just how challenging it's gonna be. I don't really think it's something you can like prepare for. I think it's just like when the time comes, you gotta suck it up, be all in. Like you kind of know what you have to do, and like you have to get it done.
Since you didn't know what it was going to be like, did you feel like it was maybe a little bit harder or a little bit easier?
Here's why I would say it was easier. I think it was easier because my coach was always there and he was like very like reassuring and he was kind of like, you know, like this is happening to you, like this is normal. And you know, he would kind of be like, okay, looking ahead, like here's where we're gonna go. Um, but overall, like the prep was a lot harder than what I had like imagined in my head. I always thought like, you know, like yes, I'm gonna be tired, yes, I'm gonna be hungry, but like I was like up at night crying. Like I was so hungry. Like, and you don't, you know, I didn't think it was like gonna be all that. But I would say my coach made it like as easy as possible for me. And I think I had like in my head, you know, these like crazy expectations. Like I'd hear about people doing like 2 hours of like cardio like twice a day and like eating like 700 calories. And like truthfully, mine was not like that. You know, I think my cardio got up to like 45 minutes. And that was like the worst. So it was like easier in that way, but that's just because I have a really good coach. And he knows what he's doing and he plans ahead.
And how did you manage that? How did you manage the feelings of being overwhelmed or being, you know, hungry or tired, you know, fatigued?
I think for me, the biggest thing was like the fear of like failure. Like I did not want to start a prep and then tell everybody like, hey, I'm doing this, like, because I told everyone, I was so excited, like everyone knew. um I didn't want to start something and quit it. Like I didn't want that to happen. That like I to me that would have been like the worst thing ever. So it was just a matter of taking every day by day, checking off the boxes. Like I knew what I had to get done. It's possible. It's possible. Um, you really just have to want it like bad enough. And I did. I really did. So I got it done. And I was balancing a lot. I was in college, I was working, I had 2 dogs. Like I was doing a lot, but it's just you have to want it bad enough. And I was so afraid
Yeah.
of like failing at prep.
And is that fear still there? Do you feel like that's a lot of people's fear the first time, is that they say they want to do it and then it gets really hard and they don't back out because they don't want to like seem like that they're giving up? But do you feel like that feeling leaves you after that first time, and it's more along the lines of like you're doing it more for you and for like not giving up on yourself? This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout.
A little bit. I think when I make a goal for myself, like I will not stop till I reach it. And like, my goal with this sport is like one day I do want to go get on the big stage. Like I want to go to the Olympia. Like that's my final goal. And like, I just don't see anything like stopping me from getting there. Like I want it like so bad. And like the good thing is I do love this sport too, right? So it's not like I'm just doing this because I said I would and I actually hate it, but I'm not gonna stop because I like said I would do it. Like I love it. I love everything about bodybuilding. But um yeah, I just think, like I have this like vision and like I just will do whatever it takes to get there. And like, yes, like failing at it still, like up to this day, like scares me because it is such a big goal, not a lot of people get there, but
And is that something that you've wanted since you started, or is it something that kind of that has developed over time? The goal to continue to want to, and then now finally wanting to like be on that biggest stage. When you first got in, was it more along the lines of like, I just want to compete and I just want to try and I just want to have the experience? Or, how did the kind of goal evolution go for you?
yep. It started as I'm going to do one show and I'm going to be done. And that's it. Like, just like a bucket list thing is what it was. But then it got like closer to prep. And then, I met a lot of other like bodybuilders and I really started to like what I'm doing. And then I was kind of like, okay, like, I think I'm going to try to like now get my pro card. Like, that was kind of like the next goal. And like, haven't gotten my pro card yet, but I'm like already like thinking like even further ahead. Like I was at the Olympia like last year and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like this is the dream. Like that's where I'm gonna get to. So I would definitely say like it's a dream that's kind of like developed and like grown over time.
Since you've started, what do you feel like you've kind of gotten better at the most?
I would say like strength training. That's probably been where I've gotten like best. Just, like the intensity at like which I train. And I think part of that too is, switching to the gym I'm at now, Iron Alliance. It's like a big bodybuilding gym. The community is great. My coach owns it. And I think just like being around like that atmosphere and like those people, it really pushes you to like be better. And I would say my training has just taken off since the day this gym has like opened. I've made the most progress since this gym is opened. So it's definitely through that.
And is it something where you have like a 2 year, a 3 or a 5 year plan, or is it more along the lines of like, let's continue to kind of grow in the sport and figure out what I need and maybe get some of those things that I do need checked off and then make the plan?
Yeah, here's what's great about my coach. We had an immediate plan like right after my last prep ended. Like we knew like what we were going to do. The plan was to take a 2 year off season, just grow. We did like a little mini cut within that, like 2 years But my prep will be starting February 24th. So like I literally know the exact date. Like I know everything. Everything is very planned out, and he does all that. I just say okay. But yeah, he definitely like plans everything very like long term, which is really nice because I like to know what's going on. I think if I didn't have a plan, that would kind of stress me out a little bit, and I feel like I'd get like a little bit like lost. But I have a very like set in place plan for the next time I compete.
You know, having that kind of structure, does that ever feel like, I mean, I can relate in regards to like I love that. And I know when I'm doing certain things and have to have things accomplished and things like that. But at the same time, do you ever feel like, oh man, I know that this is the date when I need to be a certain way. So like it puts more like emphasis on each day to continue to get to where I need to be.
Yes, but in a sense, I think that's good. I think it's good to like have that pressure. Um, because it really like just it fuels your fire, like is what it does for me. It's like here's the deadline, like you have 5 more months to like put everything like into this like growth. Like, and these 5 months matter. Versus I think if I didn't have a plan, I almost feel like I just kind of would be like going through the motions a little bit more. Like, yeah, like when the time comes, it comes. But it's like, no, like this is the plan. Like, ready or not, we're gonna do it. We're gonna roll with it. So yeah, like it adds pressure, but I think if you can figure out how to like use that pressure as like motivation in a sense, that's like such a life hack.
And for you, since getting into bodybuilding, you know, what has been maybe the biggest thing or some of the things that you've really kind of discovered about yourself and learned about yourself?
Biggest thing I learned about myself is that I could literally do anything like I want to do. Like if I think I already kind of like said this earlier, but like if I tell myself like I'm gonna do something, like I will do it. And like I won't stop. I think in my prep, I had a million reasons to like quit, drop out, like life got hard, but like I just never did.
Are there athletes that you look to? Are there people, or maybe just, you know, whether they're active athletes or retired athletes, are there athletes that you look to, whether that be for inspiration or motivation or education or anything like that, that you kind of look to help you get to that goal?
Yeah, there definitely is. I think a lot of the people that I actually look up to, they aren't even like pros though, which is like kind of funny. I've just met a lot of like really impressive people, you know, that have like super cool stories as like why they do that, or like, you know, all these things that they've like been through and like gone through, and it's like, wow, you're still doing this. Like you were never gonna stop, like type of thing. And it helps in a sense because it's like I see like everything, like every obstacle they had to get through, and it makes mine look like nothing. Like in a sense, like it's like wow, like you know, I don't even know, like they've experienced things like I could never even like imagine experiencing.
Yeah.
And I think the people like that are really like the ones that I like look up to the most. I think my coach too, I since day one, like he's a competitor, not a pro, but I think he should be. I just look up to him in so many ways. You know, like how he trains, like how hard he works, like, you know, what he all like balances every single day and like still gets everything done that like needs to get done. Like those are really the people that I look up to. And it's nice because they're all like in my community, like I'm close with them. There's not really like a pro that I necessarily look up to, like someone that I don't like even know, where I'm like, you know, I wouldn't consider any of them like a role model. I think they have cool physiques and I'm like, yeah, I want to look like you, but it's I think for me it's just like deeper than like a physique.
Right. But yeah, it was great chatting with you. I really appreciate you coming on, and you know, best of luck with your goals in the future.
Thank you. It was great talking with you.
If you want to share your social media or anything like that, you can do that.
Yeah, my Instagram is really like the only social media I use. It's just my first and last name, Maddie Loehr _fit.
If you're tired of searching for a coach or trainer, somebody who knows what they're talking about and has experience, make sure you go check out the new Coach's Corner on weightroompodcast.com. You can find quality, qualified coaches to help you achieve your goals, whether that's in bodybuilding or just general fitness. Stop wasting time and start achieving your goals today. The link to the Coach's Corner is down in the description below.